Oh, I tell you, bunch of clowns I got here. Yeah, I'll go. I went go on the other go. Which go do you want me to go on?
On the go.
Do it live, Terry. We'll do it fucking live.
Swearing.
We'll do it live. Let's do it live.
Should be coming through to the outside
Yes,
now.
yes, we are.
Why isn't it coming through outside?
Hi, boys and girls. Today on Romper Room.
Oh, here we go. There's a bit of a delay. I got here. I better turn the volume down on the live stream. Romper Room. Shit, you're going back a bit for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the kids were laid out on the left-hand side and the right-hand side on little tables, and she was in the middle. And what did they... I'm trying to remember the activities they did.
Leaving.
Can't remember. We've got an ex-penguin out there. How can you be an ex-penguin?
Ex-Antarctic Penguin Defence Force.
Oh, you're retired penguin. Retired.
Yeah. Yeah. Retired on medical grounds.
Well, they got seasick.
Yeah. No, they got cold feet.
He got cold feet. Well, going by the title, we're going to look at shadows. Shadows. Shadow puppets or just shadows?
I found a good one.
What, shadow puppets?
No. Moon shadow from a high altitude balloon at 57,000 feet during an eclipse.
Were you being followed by it?
Oh,
I hate it when you get I hate it when you get followed by a moon shadow.
Moon shadow, something like that.
Do you want the link?
Yes, please. You going to shove it inside or outside?
I'll shove it inside. That's what I'm doing it now. There you go. And if fast forward to about a minute 15.
Fort Laramie. Is that where Laramie cigarettes come from?
Where are you going? You're going down. Where are you going down? You need to go up. About a minute 15. 1 minute 15. Up.
We're looking at the moon there.
Doesn't matter. That's not what we're after.
It's the shadow, isn't it? Shadow. Right, just do it from about there. That'll do. That'll come up. It will come up in a minute. That'll do. Where are you going backwards for?
Because by the time I press play...
It's all right. We don't need to hear the sound anyway. It's just nice.
Don't need to hear sound. Here we go. That's a crop circle. Oh, what happened?
Probably a series circle, Terry.
Altitude 57,000 feet.
There you see the shadow there. Look, there you go.
Oh, there's a dark spot.
Yeah. Wonder what that is.
Maybe one of the lights went out on the moon.
Could they hold the camera still?
It would be helpful.
Yeah, I don't know if Satelloons have flight control.
Oh, it went dark all of a sudden.
Now you mention that, now you come to mention it, when we finish this video, I'll tell you that is possible, actually. Somebody's going to launch rockets from a very such thing that has thrusters on a balloon.
Well, the United States of America back in, I think it was back in the 1940s or 50s were actually doing that. They were using balloons to get it up to altitude and then launching it from there because they didn't need to use as much.
Oops, sky, land. Land. Sky.
Yeah, I was reading about on space.com about this space startup company that's just starting up.
Oh, you mean indoctrination.com?
Yeah, that's the one. or the shields.com, whichever
Somebody
you want.
give Spaceman a tissue.
Yeah, he needs to blow his schnozzle.
It's not.
Yes. Lead not follow.
I don't.
Peter's got a bucket on his head. That's why he sounds like he's in a tin can.
I'm in a tin can.
Oh, you're actually in the tin can.
Yeah,
What
ISS.
I ran a string to Demonic's place, and I'm actually in the tin can, and Demonic's holding the other tin can near his microphone.
Yeah, that's why you'll never hear us both speak at the same time.
So yeah, Space Startup aims to launch CubeSats on a balloon-lofted rockets. Right. Let's have a look. Blah, 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 blah. It will loft a Bantam spacecraft using rocket dropped from a giant hot air balloon about 60,000 feet above the Earth's surface. Such rockoons was a heyday in the 1950s, so yeah, it's not a new thing. But this thing's actually got thrusters to hold the right direction and also to hold it still.
Oh, nice.
Oh, thrust.
Thrusty bits.
Thrusty bits. But
And yeah, and it's got like a little launch rail on it, and it can be launched from the back of a truck.
Lead
And they're
not
going to
follow. Poor casual spaceman's got the man flu. You have to be sympathetic.
Yeah, sympathy, please. Yeah. Man flu's a real thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's been scientifically proved.
has it proved?
Yeah.
What was there a mathematical equation to prove man flu?
There was medical scientific research, and they proved that men suffer from flu far more than women do because of
there is evidence showing
genetics and evolution.
Apparently.
There was evidence showing that men are affected differently than women.
Also, apparently, if we make an observation, we have to break it down to a scientific mathematical model.
And there it is on the screen there. Look, there we go.
Testing.
Yes, we hear you, Pip.
You've got a microphone.
I've been
Testing,
talking for ages. Okay. I know what I've done. It's all right.
There you go. There it is on.
It's an artist illustration.
Yeah, it's CGI. Well, they haven't built it yet, so yeah, it's going to be.
Okay. And what are they going to do with this?
They're going to launch these new thing, these CubeSats, these little CubeSats, the little tiny satellites. They're literally like not much bigger than a jewelry box.
They're 100 centimeters square.
Yeah. So they're going to launch. They can launch it in one of these things. So it'd be really cheap to do. So they go as high as they possibly can, and then
33 kilogram to a 340 mile high, or 550 kilometer sun synchronous orbit. Okay.
Sun synchronous orbit, yeah. Yeah.
Does it say when?
No, it's a new startup company. They're just California-based startup Leo Aerospace are developing a small satellite launch system, employing a rocket and big hot air balloon. And there's the truck there they can launch it from, something like that. Just on top of the truck.
They've got that far into it. It shouldn't be much longer. Another couple of years, probably. So they're going to call them rockoons.
Well, no, that was the thing they used to call them back in the 50s and 60s. They used to call them
they will be classified as altitude enabled rockets, as far as I know.
Something like that. And there it is. Going back to what I said before. It's like a rail thing.
So now they're going to start polluting instead of space. They're going to pollute our atmosphere with balloons everywhere.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's only one at the moment, you know.
Yeah, but we've got to get the conspiracy going.
We've got to start early with these conspiracies.
Yeah.
Are they going to let chemtrail go as well?
Leo Aerospace aims to start providing suborbital launches in 2021. There you go. And orbital missions by the end of the following year.
Tab.
All right, they're still trying to apply for government funding or something, which they haven't been able to secure yet. Can you still hear me? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still
Yeah,
here.
you're still there.
I thought
Yeah,
I
but-
thought
No, it's just you were talking.
Yeah, we don't overtalk people.
you all went a bit quiet for a little while. I thought maybe
Well, we do that while you're talking.
what talk over me.
No, we don't do that. I've just seen some crepuscular rays. There's crepuscular as well, so I'm trying to find.
What are you trying to find? Pus.
Piss.
So
Oh, look at that.
Crepuscular rays. Yeah, look at that.
That's
Isn't
nice,
that
isn't it?
interesting?
that's
Yeah.
those ones. So they're crepuscular. Supposed to be crepuscular as well.
And where would the sun be when they're causing that then?
Well, it'd have to be above them, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because they're going down towards the Earth.
Yeah.
I'll type in crepuscular first. Then I'll type. Oh, I got one from space too. I should have seen.
That first one on the top left is quite nice.
That one?
That one there. See the rays. Well, it's not shadows, but you've got the rays.
Yeah. Well, it's a form of shadowing.
Yeah, true.
Because the cloud is blocking it, so.
Yeah. And then that next one down there as well is quite a nice one. Sunbeam.
Yeah, but here's the problem that our friendly dum-dums have. Okay, see how it looks like the lines are at an angle?
Yeah. What's that called again?
Frame of reference, basically.
Well, yeah.
Because because the rays, what's happening, especially in this picture on the left, that big ray that you see angled, okay, what's happening is as it's coming through the cloud, it's spreading. So it's half being cut off by the cloud, but as it gets past the cloud, it spreads again.
Oh, you're
So
talking about that first.
I guarantee you, if you got to a certain point in the other direction, it'll actually be perfectly parallel.
Yeah. And of course, what flat earthers then do, they draw a line and then it converges to a, not so distant
but
point.
what about those lines on the other side that are not actually looking like they're going to converge?
Exactly.
And also, when you can see the point of light on the one that we've got with the sunbeam Wikipedia picture, you can see the sun.
Yeah.
And look, those rays aren't pointing toward it, are they?
Get a better picture. Help.
That's small one, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that one came out small.
Well, you can zoom yeah, there you go. It's not a great picture when you zoom in, but it's
so
still a good.
if you take okay, so the ones directly above the sun, all right, they'll point down, but the ones that are away, they take a different angle, don't they? The ones to the right, they take a different angle.
Yeah.
You know what that's because of?
I don't know, round planet maybe.
Is it?
Well, see, the atmosphere goes around the planet as well, so it's round. Those clouds aren't flat. Well, as my son would like to say, not flat, but. And he just died.
Well, if you draw a line from the sun to that shadow to the right, it lines up.
Yeah, it does. But but the reason for the angle is because that sun is so far away. But if you were underneath that line on the right, it would be parallel to the angle coming from the sun.
And the cloud is not small either.
Oh no. But if you look at the rays directly above it, they are directly within line with the sun.
Yeah.
Now I have to make 6 mathematical formulas for all the unknown variables, and then I have to create an obtuse angle diagram with 6 different angles plus Newton's theory of negative relativity.
Yeah. Spit it out.
Oh, sorry, I'm just going the mind of God route on it. Like,
Tricrepuscular. How do you spell that?
Is it cospucular? I don't know. Crepuscular.
No, it's capuscular.
Crepuscular.
Right. Typed in one space. Space one though.
Oh, look. There you go. That's taken from the from that thing that they is the Satelloon, as they call it, called the ISS, isn't it?
Yeah, the Satelloon with the solar panels on the side of it.
Solar panel. Yeah.
yeah, with the straight panels but fish-eyed lens. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
I honestly want to know if any of them have a fisheye lens and whether they can get a straight line to curve with it.
Well, look at that. That's a good one. Those really good ones there.
Yeah, but them ones aren't really that good for us. We need, because you'd have to say, well, were you there, or how do I get up to the space station to look at that? There's no such thing as a space station.
Didn't you know? Casual and I went up there last week and took these photos.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that why you were gone for so long?
Yeah, that one day.
They can't prove we didn't.
No.
What's that one there on the left? Scroll down a bit, Terry.
Yeah, I just want to get everyone else on the same page.
Go down a bit. Go down. Scroll down. Where is it? Oh, it's gone again. There's one that was like some strange. There you go. What's that? Cloud shadows on ground. What's that white? What's all that white effect? What is that?
I don't know. Is it sunlight coming through the clouds?
Could it?
Might be.
It's a nice effect, though, isn't it?
That's so shady, bro.
See if we can get a bigger look at it to see what it looks like.
Nice effect, though, isn't it?
That's so weird, that.
Very
Looks
strange.
like a game.
Does look. I'm just thinking that because that jet.
It's a game. I don't
it's a
think
game.
that's real.
Yeah, it's a game. You're right.
Real?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a game. I wonder why the shadows looked a bit sharp.
Cloud shadows and pre-par 3D forums.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
It tricked you.
For a second.
Just looking for certain type of shadows for the clouds. The sun angle.
Yeah. Game.
Games. What are they doing in here?
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
That's a space one.
Yeah, another ISIS one. Yeah.
1,000 Mile Shadows. Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
I think we're going to find what we're looking for in amongst these ones.
Oh.
Is that what you're looking for?
Well, it's to do with shadows, obviously. How about we we'll put underlit cloud and see what we get. That might have to go straight to the source.
I put a couple of photos in homework. Don't say any good to you.
Oh, Pip is the shadow hunter now.
Yeah.
What we get for
Yeah.
underlit cloud.
Underlit cloud.
If I had a camera, I could probably do one of these type of photos one time. But my sun doesn't go low enough because I got the bloody mountain in the road.
Bloody mountain.
Yeah.
Who put it there anyway?
What's his name?
It was Apollo.
Yeah.
I thought it was the spaghetti monster.
Did you? I mean, what?
What was one of their theories? That it bounced off the ground, the sunlight, and then hit the cloud? Well, and it should be green or something, and if it's off the water, it should be blue.
What?
The sun bounced off the ground to cause the underlit cloud, not because the sun's below the cloud.
Bounced off the ground.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Wait a minute, that's a time-lapse one. Whoops. Time-lapse footage of a deck of clouds underlit.
We're talking about that, yeah. Ugh.
Go. Make it big. Oh, that's no good. Ah! I broke it.
No, you haven't.
Why? What do you see?
Well, I see it moving.
Yeah, but is it full screen or is it only half screen?
Full
No,
screen.
it's, well, full screen.
And it hasn't got my chat windows or anything in it?
No. It's not full screen in on YouTube though.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it
what I
is.
thought. What's it?
No. You
It
only
is
get
for
in,
me.
you get
It's
in
not
the
now.
top left-hand corner.
No,
of
it's
that
not.
area.
That's not full screen in YouTube. Sorry.
You only get in the bottom right-hand corner
Yeah.
in the D.
Yeah, I can't make it fit. Oh, well, sorry about that.
Oh well. Put the link in the chat.
Oh, shit. I put that.
I just can't figure out why these clouds would be lit from underneath, though, Davros. Why would that be then?
I told you.
Oh, what? Why? Why, Terry?
Why would that be?
The surface of the land is reflecting the sunlight coming down.
Then why
No.
isn't all the underside of the cloud covered in light?
It depends on the angle.
It depends on the refraction of the grass blades. Demonic.
Yeah, that's it. If the grass is wet, like if there was dew that night, it would reflect the light.
So what's the sense?
I got to read out my super chat. I get
I
more super
reject your
chats.
reality.
I get more super chats than you do, Spaceman.
That's probably true, actually.
I got 2,000 super chat for subs, views, and a camera. Okay.
And a camera.
And a camera. Cool.
There's another one above it.
Was there? I missed the one above.
Yeah, you got 300,000 there.
No, that's just for a Saloon.
Oh, was it?
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
All right. One sat alone currently costs around about 300,000 each. Okay.
I'm sure we
Yeah,
could do it cheaper.
That's pound though.
Could
$300,000, yeah, pounds. Yeah.
so I know like the local amateur radio club in South Australia. So it's actually not far from where Demonic's place is. It's in Elizabeth. They launch a balloon there probably once every 3 or 4 months, and they use one of the large weather balloons, and they launch it with radio tracking GPS signal system that they actually track all the way to wherever it goes. And I think the furthest one, so it's made it pretty much to border town at the moment. So what's that, Demonic? Probably about 200 or 300 kilometres, wouldn't it?
350, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's,
Yeah, just let me do some secretarial work and I'll let you know.
well, I could do it if I could grab my tablet, but it's
Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's all right.
fine.
I've got the technology. My Google's not broken.
Are you
I think-
running low tech tonight, Peter?
I'm running lo-fi. We all know that. But no, I've actually set up my third screen. I was talking and Demonic decided to do it. That's all. I could bring up Google on the computer, but I normally do it on the tablet when I'm doing stuff like that. I didn't leave it in a convenient spot tonight.
Now that'd be a good shot to get hold of more photos of that, what that represents. That one.
Looks like volcano lava, doesn't it? Like
Open
as it's flowing into the sea or something like that.
Oh shit! Why do they have to be so small? Yeah. But it's actually the sun below the cloud line. How could that be possible on a flat Earth?
That's because the Earth isn't flat. Maybe.
Oh,
Possibly.
yeah, okay. Geez, got to bring facts into it.
Could be a possibility.
It's not clouds.
Not clouds.
No,
Huh?
they're not clouds.
Oh, okay.
They're not clouds.
Okay.
That's a cotton field. That's a cotton field.
Oh, okay.
It's on fire.
Cotton field on fire.
Oh, look, and that's candy cane on fire.
Yeah.
I can't quite see what that one is. Meant to be underlit, or is it this? Obviously taken from a plane. Something's underlit, that's for sure. Or is it the city lights? I can't tell.
Because Demonic was taking so long, is from Adelaide, as the crow flies from Adelaide through to the Victorian border, you're looking at about 217 kilometres. So you got to understand when they do that though, the balloons don't fly in a straight line. They follow wherever the wind currents are going, so they end up doing swirls and circles, and if they get caught up in like a high or a low pressure system, they'll actually follow the system around, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, when they send those up, they virtually are satelloons. They put a small couple of transmitters on it and a GPS unit, and they use it to transmit back all of the relative data. Very similar to what a satellite would do, However, it's all just amateur radio type stuff.
Got no idea what that is.
See, I got a little bit of a problem with this word satelloons.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because if you look at the definition of a satellite, right, it's an artificial body placed in orbit around the Earth or Moon or another planet in order to collect information for communication.
Yep.
So, these satelloons, I mean, do they actually do full orbits around the Earth?
They can, yeah, they actually can. If you look back into NASA's history, I think it was back in the 1940s they were actually playing with these things that they called satelloons.
Oh yeah, because they were using it in the early times as spy cameras, weren't they?
Exactly. So they'd launch them in.
I don't think they were doing full. They were doing full orbits, though, were they?
No, I don't. Look, there has been a few that's made it around the Earth a couple of times, but as far as an orbit, well, technically no, they're not orbits per se. They're following air currents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
because that's kind of why I don't like the word satelloons, because they're not satellites. You know?
NASA coined the phrase, so.
Yeah, I know they did. I still don't have to like it though.
No, you don't. But you can do what all the flat earthers do and just blame NASA for everything, though.
Yeah. What, like Aaron?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh God, I mean, everything we talked about last night, Aaron had the ability to actually bring it back to governments and NASA. Like, what? How?
Because he's a troll. You listen to what he says.
I know.
If he has not got a script in front of him, if he hasn't got a list of things that, to connect things to other things, to bring it back to government and or NASA, I would be very surprised the way he does it.
I can't remember earlier on, we were sort of asking him questions and stuff, and he was deflecting, but you can tell he was Googling because he was deflecting. He deflect, and all of a sudden he'd give the answer because he just Googled it.
Well, who was it? Was it when Red came in? And Red was asking him questions.
Because he's been a dumbass about lubrication of a diesel engine, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was just ridiculous.
I really don't think he really believes what he was talking about there. I really don't think he does.
I think Crash got it. He was on the money on everything he was saying. Yeah, look, the oil does do a small amount of cooling. If you do a mechanics course, they will tell you that it does a small amount of cooling.
Yeah, but that's not the primary reason for having oil, though, is it?
It's all there for lubrication, and he knows that.
Lubrication.
He's just, and he was trolling. You could hear it, the way that he redirected every single question back to another question, back to everyone on the panel. It was absolutely classic trolling.
The day before, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, the day before he was talking about how with his equipment that he's got, like his big excavators and all the rest of it, that he digs holes now. If he's got such big equipment, he would know that oil is not for cooling.
So
he would know all of that.
I would go as far as saying that I think, don't get me wrong, I think that he's operated a machine before. I don't know if he has got a whole heap of equipment. If he has, he might have a backhoe and a small excavator that fits on a trailer.
He did show in one of Sean's streams, he was quite a little bit more than tipsy, I'd say, and he was walking around at night time with his phone showing all of his cars, and you could see off at the distance big silhouettes of stuff. I don't know if it was his though, but if he talks the way he does to us,
he wouldn't have a business, quite literally.
Well, your audio just got really good.
Yeah, what did
Yeah.
you do?
Sorry.
Gone back again.
Gone back.
Your audio is really good.
Your audio got fantastic there, Dory.
Yeah, what did
Yeah,
you
just-
do?
Just about 2 seconds, it sounded really good.
Sorry.
No,
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 don't
no,
apologise.
no, it's not sorry. You just do what you did before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
it
I've got
it was better.
a Bluetooth headset, and sometimes it cuts out for some weird reason.
Yeah, but it went good.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that could be distance to the object
So,
causing
so
that.
lead not follow says that he does have quite a bit of equipment. Yeah, well, he might have quite a bit of equipment, but I will say this: when was it when he was talking about equipment, and I was
Oh,
driving
the
back from
hydraulic
Gippsland.
debacle.
Yeah, and I finally popped in because I couldn't get in on my phone. I had to wait until I got home
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
When he was talking about that, for someone that's knowledgeable in the operation of a machine, he was explaining it very poorly, and I think that's the best way to put it. I'm not saying that he doesn't have equipment. I'd be surprised if he owns it. He may have equipment that he uses, but his business not a complete. Okay.
Whoa, what was that?
I think someone just put their microphone in a packet of crisps.
Yeah.
It's correctly, didn't it?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right, Dory.
No, you're right, Dory.
You're good
Is that
now.
better?
Just
We
leave it
found
there.
you. We found you.
It's
We
really
found
good.
Dory. It's all good.
No.
We found Dory. Lead.follow
Oh,
says his business
I'm
is not
so
completely on the up and up. No,
Yeah.
he's not. He's not even freaking insured.
Yeah, no, sorry, I changed headsets.
Yeah, no, that one's really good.
That's heaps better.
Look, that doesn't
Sorry.
surprise me at all. That really doesn't surprise me that it's not on the up and up. I don't. The thing is, like, so I did all of my plan operating courses. I did through the military. Now I know it's completely different that way, but when each machine that we learnt, we had to learn not just how the machine operates, but how the machine works. So the flow of oils, where the oil goes, what does what, and all the intricate parts of, to give us a better mechanical idea on what the machine could do. I know it's totally different everywhere else in the world where you just go and do the course and you get a tick in the box and you get a ticket. But even so, someone that owns their own machines always likes to have a good idea on how they work. Operators will quite often ask mechanics questions and stuff like that, because the more you know about your machine, the better you can operate it. Some of the stuff he says to me that he does operate, and I don't have any doubts in my mind that he operates machines. However, a lot of his statements don't necessarily gel with that. So he just, it just doesn't, something doesn't sit right for me. Everyone's gone quiet.
Oh, sorry, I was fiddling around.
That's what it was me.
Now,
I'm
what I'm going to
fiddling
do, what I'm
around.
trying to do for learning how to do live streams, to schedule them, I might stop the live stream a little while and redo it, restart it again in about half an hour. So I'll schedule it for say 9:35.
Have you got it in studio mode, Terry?
Have I got what?
Have you got OBS in studio mode?
Why? What's happening?
No, nothing's happening. I'm just asking you a question.
No,
Have you got it?
no, I haven't got it in studio mode at the moment.
Well, that makes a whole lot life a lot easier, because if the your streaming screen is not right, what you can do is you've got another screen where you can actually set things up, and all you need to do is just then press cut, and then it'll give you the screen that you want then. So you have like a one that's a setup screen where nobody can actually see, and then you just transition it over.
Oh yeah, I know how to do that.
Yeah, do it that way. You
I've just never noticed it. I've just never noticed it to be needed.
Yeah. Well, that way you don't have to shut the screen down, because if the things are not quite right the way you want it, then. Anyway, what's wrong with it anyway?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just making sure that when I'm doing a scheduled, the right procedure to schedule the streams, going through this new.
All right. All gone quiet again.
It's all gone. It goes quiet like this.
I was reading the side chat. Lead Not Follow says, Terry, to make sure that you tick the box for promotions on all platforms.
Yeah.
Don't tick the box for promotion on all platforms.
No, I don't tick boxes for that.
That you tick. Make sure that you tick the box for promotion on all platforms.
That is. No idea where that setting is. Okay.
I have an interesting little statistic. Vsauce, who has 15 million subscribers, did a video called "Is Earth Actually Flat?" It has 27 million views.
Whoa. That's a
So
lot of
he's
views.
almost got double the views that he has subscribers for.
Vsauce gets pumped out by the algorithm a lot, though.
Yeah, but it's the fact that a video about flat Earth being debunked has 27 million views, and the highest video I could find for flat Earth was 87k views on Eric DeBay's 200 proofs.
Yeah, and 90% of those would have been 90% of those would have been debunkers.
Yeah.
Terry, are you reading the side chat? Sorry, the external.
Internal, external.
No, external.
If you tick the box, then you get notifications from YouTube, AI key, on all other platforms you promote on.
There you go. Okay. Unicorn farts have confirmed. Apollo used unicorn farts. There you go.
I don't know where this box is that he's talking about. Must be in the. This is ridiculous. They'd make it simple for people. No, I don't want to go live. I've already done that. Now it's saying upcoming. Today's date upcoming, but I'm going to have to play around with this another day. Turn that off.
We can zoom into the onto the moon, but not satellites. We can zoom in onto the stars, but not satellites. 2017 now. Wake up for crying out loud. Oh, right. God.
And how small is the satellite? Which satellite? The ISS or a smaller satellite?
Well, in
Any
comparison
satellite,
to the Earth, though, you know, they look at the moon and they think that satellites are as big as that. You know, it's a bit ridiculous. They don't look at the whole thing you know, they can't perspective. They can't see the difference in angular size and stuff like that. They don't realise what they're trying to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one as well. Why can't the Hubble turn? Why can't we turn the Hubble around to face the Earth?
No, we don't need to.
Please, I know. You don't need to explain. I know.
Okay, we won't explain it then.
Well, there's some wonderful apps that you can download on your mobile phone, like both Apple and Android. I'll just click on one of them. Is called TrackSats, and as long as if you know what satellite you want to see, you can actually click on the satellite you want to see when it goes over the top of you, and it will do everything. It will even give you a 5-minute warning before it goes over the top of you. So at night time, you can position yourself so you can see it. You know, the satellites aren't that hard to actually locate and watch going over it. You know, they expect you to pull out telescopes and take pictures of them, but do they realise most of the satellites that you can see easily are transiting, and the ones that are transiting are doing the same type of speeds as the ISS. They're not sitting still. They're hoofing it. You know, they're going pretty fast.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, they need to go at a particular speed to maintain a particular orbit.
That's it.
You know, it's going pretty fast. Try zooming on something that's going at 17,000 miles an hour. But you know, the speed, as we know, is relative.
Yeah.
Well, Pip, we can see you. We can see you, Pip, in your camera.
Hi, Pip.
I was too slow. Wasn't quick enough.
What did you turn
that was a weird view because his laptop's at the side of me. So God knows what the hell you were saying there.
What do you turn it off for?
My ear. Turn it off because I haven't combed my hair, Cancer. Okay?
Neither have I.
I'm still in the 90.
Man, you see the state of me then. Look.
You show your face all the time.
Yeah, but look.
Not a pretty sight. See me in the morning. Nope.
Yeah, but look at the state of me. Look.
You're fine.
You sound worse than you look, or you look worse than you sound?
Both.
You don't look that bad. You're just doing it for the sympathy.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I'm not going to get any sympathy, so I'm not really going to try hard. Hello, Pip.
She's got a hand up.
Good. I don't want to talk to my hand.
Talk to the hand.
So there you have it, proof that the Earth is flat. So if you have a brain,
Talk to the hand to face it, listen.
I put Shadows Flat Earth into YouTube, and the first video I got was moon shadows during eclipse, where you posted the one you just posted before.
Yeah. I know,
that's all that came up.
Yeah. Turned out it was not that interesting as well, was it? So.
Oh, it's okay. Can't complain.
Well, let's play devil's advocate for a second.
No, I don't like playing games.
Flat Earth shadows.
I got to do shadows work on a flat Earth.
Well, they do.
This one goes for half an hour though.
Yeah, shadows will work on a flat Earth. Yeah.
They'll just be different.
Okay, I won't go to that one then. Don't know who it is, the person.
What winds me up as well is that people sometimes flat earthers don't seem to understand shadows as well, because like one of the things they try to use is to measure things like shadows that are on an uneven surface.
Yeah.
You know, shadows can create all kinds of weird shapes and weird different things, you know, if it's on uneven surface.
Well, I got a fuck it word that says sun
Fuck it word.
shadows. That's what it says. It says fuck it word.
Yeah, like in Fala.
Okay, it's okay.
No, it's fuck it, like in Fala.
Yeah, the P and a H.
Okay.
That's a first sound.
It's a
It's
pert, like Fala.
But
People don't go on holiday to fuck it. They go to
That's how it's written. PH is F, UKET. Fuck it.
so, so where you go to holiday this year? Fuck it. I'm going to fuck it this year.
But he done one 5 months ago. Sun shadows only possible on flat Earth, not globe.
Well,
Yeah.
You want to watch that?
All right, so you can't cast a shadow on a flipping globe then? Is that what you're saying, or on a ball?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll open link in new tab so I don't lose the search. Here we go. Pause it for a sec. See what crap he comes up with. Usually he just rambles on. He doesn't usually have anything like this.
what about the Science Channel, Terry? Can we use that?
Not sure about a science channel. It depends on which science channel.
Yeah, okay, let me.
What are you saying, that I haven't had a copyright strike this week, so we're going to take our chances?
Well, this one's almost worth it. I think you'll like this one.
I don't think you've had any copyright strikes. You've just had copyright claims.
Or copyright claims, yeah. For the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty good.
Yeah, and I bet it's music, was it?
A bit of both. A bit of music and certain clips from certain providers.
So this is a good one, Terry. I've just dropped it in the internal for you.
Okay, I'll put it over into a tab. Sorry, not using
And
Studio
you
Mac at the
know the
moment.
best thing about it, the section that actually shows the eclipse has got Australia in it too, so that makes it even better.
Where was I there?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just about. You sound a bit far away though.
Yeah, you're all the way over in Scotland. You'd have to yell a bit louder.
Not lighting up when I'm speaking, that's fine.
Pull the string tighter.
Okay, we'll watch Fuck It Word for a minute to see what he's going on. We might have to skip a bit of this to see where we can get to some meaty bits. Yes, we know what the sun is, so we can skip past that.
Angela, I'm going to come and chop that nose off.
I can't help it. Sorry.
We know what the sun is. We know what the sun is. Okay. Here we go.
One thing that we can say is that it kind of makes sense. This is what you'll hear from a lot of people who have realised that we don't live on a globe, and
is it a bit low to you? The sound?
The flat Earth just makes sense based
That's
on
perfect.
our observational reality. But it's very difficult to kind of put that across somehow. Why does it make sense? And it's like anything that makes sense. There are all these little clues which add up that we can compare with reality and say, yeah, I see that the sun is something local. The Earth doesn't have to be moving. The sun actually does rise and set because it's traveling in a circle above a stationary level Earth. This just makes sense, regardless of the kind of logic you might appeal to based on the idea that, well, the Earth is another body of mass in the solar system. So it's logical that the Earth is a sphere, just like everything else that we see in the sky. And of course, it's very difficult to detach from that idea. If the idea that's been given to us since we were kids, solar systems.
No, I can't turn Pip's volume up separately, lead not follow. Zoom doesn't allow me to do that.
I think I'm
You're
all
on a
right now.
rock and you're on a globe that's going around the sun. So let's just have a look at what we can actually see with a side-on view, an orthographic view of two people looking at the sun on a flat Earth. Now, of course, what the globe or heliocentric model attempts to do is to give us an objective reality. That is to say, for example, that the sun is a particular height above the Earth. Now, in an orthographic view, we can do this. We could say, right, okay, there's the Earth, there's the sun, and it's, for the sake of argument, we'll say 100 miles away. But of course, this can become very arbitrary. We're told that the sun is 93 million miles away and much more massive. But we're going to see how that just does not work if you want to actually measure shadows or the angle to the sun on a flat Earth or a globe Earth. Having a much more massive sun simply doesn't work. But first, let's have a look at how it does make sense on a flat Earth. Here we can see two people looking at the sun, and this person here, who is relatively close to the sun, has a.
The sun's not. The sun's. It's only. Well, it's only about 10 metres up off the ground. I've got no idea how he's working this out.
Not even 10 metres if you look at that scale.
Short shadow. Okay, so this would be the angle at which they observe the sun. And over here, we have another chap who's further away from the sun. The sun hasn't moved. The sun has stayed in its objective height from the Earth in this orthographic view. But the shadow for this person is naturally going to be longer because this ray of light here is coming down at this angle. So we get a more shallow angle and a longer shadow. And of course, anyone standing directly underneath the sun will not have a shadow. So this works perfectly on a flat Earth. We actually get.
You murmured?
You said anybody standing underneath the sun wouldn't have a shadow? Yes, you would.
Yeah, if you lift your feet up, you can see your shadow under your feet.
Exactly. What? I mean, what's he trying to prove with something at the scale? He's straight away. He's trying to prove the flat Earth with a flat Earth model.
Yeah.
He's trying to debunk a globe with the flat Earth model. I don't even know what he's trying to do.
Oh, I get confused with this bloke. I think you need face pump protection for this guy.
Shadows of differing lengths depending on how close to being directly under the sun you actually are. Now, of course, what happens is we also have this subjective reality. So I've just put a line here, a blue line here, a horizontal line to represent these people's eye level. Now, for each observer looking at the sun, they are going to measure an angle to the sun from their horizontal line of sight. And of course, in that person's eyes, the horizon or the surface will appear to rise up to that person's eye level. So all the angles of elevation that they calculate or measure from their particular position on the Earth in relation to the Sun will be from their particular horizontal line of sight, or their eye level. So that's where the horizon is for each and every one of us on this Earth. And so all our observations to celestial objects or luminaries are made from eye level, from the horizon. So essentially the surface for each individual observer isn't objectively here anymore, where we can see it in this orthographic view. It is subjectively up from their own eye level. Yeah? So, of course, this...
Up from their own eye level.
Do you think he confuses himself with his own explanations?
Up with their own eye level. What the fuck is he talking about now?
He's shown a parallel line that's horizontal to the plane in this image, but then he's saying that horizontal plane reaches your eye level. But this image is not representative of that. That's two confusing explanations there. One picture shows the picture's not showing it, but then him trying to say it does. The horizon ground level reaches your eye level. Yeah.
So everybody's eye level is the same, is what he's saying. As well as another thing.
Oh God. Well, I know it's not.
Yeah, you do. If we're both at the beach at looking at the horizon at high level and the tide came in, I know who'd get drowned first.
I'd float away.
So if somebody's standing on a building that's 500 meters high, is my eye level the same as the guy on the ground?
I think he's saying that. Yeah.
So here's something for you. If someone's on the top of the Empire State Building and they're looking out in the direction of the bay, and they can see the water at the horizon.
Yeah.
Does that mean like the water's going to come up to eye level because the horizon comes up to eye level? You know, it just
makes no sense.
No.
Yeah, but you'd be looking down though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You would have to, yes.
Yeah, so that's not eye level.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
the horizon rises to eye level.
I think these flat earthers think just because you're looking at it at its eye level.
Phuket claims also that the horizon, like when you're in an aeroplane, it's at eye level.
Yep.
Well, Wolfie 6020 has already disproved that quite easily.
I even know the angle that Wolfie is talking about at 36,000 feet. It's 3.36 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep.
Angles from the eye level to the flat surface, here and here. But
and also, Mr. Dumb Dick here doesn't realise that standing at ground level, if you're looking at the horizon, it's 0.04 degrees below your eye level.
I do have an eye level representation for that.
But see here, right? If that sun was that close, they'd be dead. Even if it was that small, because it deals with nuclear reactions.
No, they're wearing ether band protection sunscreen.
They would be dead. No, but you see where that line is, all right? If that's where the ether band comes to, their brains have been melted.
I think his brain's been melted.
Oh, well, mercury and fissional,
Play?
Well, if you must.
Reality for each of these people looking at the sun. And so, of course, the further away you get from the sun,
I know how to fix him.
The lower towards our own horizon that sun will appear to be. So for this person here, who's closer to the sun, the sun will appear quite high in the sky above them. But for this person who's further away from the sun will actually appear closer to the horizon for that person, regardless of what the objective reality is when it comes to the actual height of the sun above the earth.
In a way, yeah, sort of.
For each individual person, that sun is going
Yeah,
to
but
appear.
but if that's the case, then we would see an angular change in the sun, an angular size change in the sun, wouldn't we? But we don't see that.
No, we don't see that. No.
That would have to happen, but he's just conveniently forgetting that bit.
That's different, a location relative to their eye level and their distance from the sun.
He is a very,
Further
very
away you
sad
get,
case.
closer the sun will appear to the horizon of that individual observer. Really simple stuff. So this kind of illustrates both an objective reality where we would have an assumed distance from the Earth to the sun that wouldn't change, but for the individual observer, of course, it does change in their eyes. But what we need to consider is that we're told the sun is many, many, many times larger than the Earth, and we are told that it is about 109 times larger. Basically, you could get 109 globe Earths across the diameter of the sun, so we are told. So let's have a look at that scenario here, where what we have is this idea in the model when it comes to sun angles to the sun and the shadows.
Oh, look, we've got a flat sun.
God, yeah. I mean, oh, for Christ's sake, where do you even start with this? Oh, God.
Well, Mr. Spaceman, I'll give you a hint.
What?
Don't.
Okay, it's probably better for my brain cells, isn't it? Probably.
Oh well, this is okay. This is what I don't get, right? If these pseudo intellectual people put all this effort into something actually constructive and that was of value to mankind, that international IQ would go up. But because they want to be, and no one take this the wrong way, retarding their intellectual knowledge about the planet and about the powers that be, that's what holds people back. Move forward, move on, get over this lie. Because that's what it is. It's a lie. Anyone who says the Earth is flat is lying to you.
Phuket word is also like a very early, what's his name? The barbecue dude with the water.
Oh, cellar smeller.
Pratt.
Yeah,
Pratt, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cellar
Is it-
seller.
What did you tell us, man?
Well, I nicknamed him that ages ago.
Yeah, no. He's heading sort of like the same way. He's showing the same sort of like manic tendencies.
Yeah, but he does good experiments.
He started out. He started
Sorry, go
out as a journalist. I have no idea how long he did that for in Phuket. Then he got to the fish and chip shop, and that closed down. I think it was about 6 months ago, he said. And now he's just doing the events with a truck. So very sad. All
So
because of flat Earth.
Yeah, what I don't get about him though is because he comes across as quite an intelligent guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. Like I said, he was a journalist. He was rather well,
Yeah,
some of his earlier stuff is.
He's very articulate. He's well spoken.
But that's why I made that statement, Casual.
I know.
About if they put their efforts into the reality of life, the intellect goes up.
So the question, it begs the question then, because of his intelligence and his intellect, is he a Poe, or does he really believe that the Earth is flat?
He really believes it.
Yeah, I kind of get that impression he does as well. But then again, it baffles my mind
No,
that
he
some
really
intelligent
believes it.
can't work it out.
But what sucks is he's in the perfect place to get both star rotations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Phuket
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
basically on the equator.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's also in a lucky position where he'll get the moon in the orientation that's not
Sideways.
the same. Yeah, sideways in comparison to both the northern and southern hemisphere.
So it wouldn't be upside down or right way up.
No, it'd be halfway in between.
Yeah, he will never make that observation for that reason.
Don't forget that he also heads back to England about twice a year.
Yeah, but
And one of his trips, he actually calibrated his phone to be
Then
a
we
level.
ought to say to him, like, well, then we ought to say to him, then, well, what? Right, okay. Next time you're in England, take a few photographs of the moon, and then when you go back to Phuket, take a couple of photographs of the moon and make a comparison. Why is there a change?
well, you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do it. I don't
Like
want to
Mob
have
Boy.
to feed the evidence for you. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most of you heard me say to Mind of God, I have an observation you can do.
Oh, demonic. It's exactly the same as when I turned around to
Arwinge.
Arwen, yeah, and
No, get it right.
Arwinge, yeah.
Yeah.
And realistically, I believe Arwen can be quite intellectual. You know, he is well spoken once again. But I honestly believe that because the Oakley and the lying lawyer and all of that befriended him, and it suited his religious narrative, the whole flat Earth thing. You know, he felt like part of the crew, part of the team, and you know that's why he's the way he is. You know, I said to him that I gave him the link to the radio club near him, so he could actually go to the radio club, observe a Earth Moon bounce of the radio signal, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll do that with some friends on the stream on I think it was Jose's." And now, no, he won't do it. I'm expected to do it. But you know, well, I've already done it myself. I don't need to go and watch someone do it. He needs to go and watch someone do it. You know, because as the conversation went, you know, Sean Hufford said, even if you gave him all the evidence, all the data that he requested, he'll turn around and go, I didn't see this, I didn't see that. You didn't do this bit, I didn't see this bit happen. You know, so no matter what I present to him, it's not going to be good enough because he didn't see it live. But now, he won't even go and watch it done live because it destroys his narrative.
Yeah.
I haven't got to the meaty bit yet of this.
I'm just going to keep dropping links in the chat for you, Terry, of good shadow.
In the internal chat?
Yes, of good shadow ones.
Yeah. Well, even if it's any, that's why I googled YouTube to see if any flurfers were doing anything like this or similar.
Well, I'll try. I will be honest. I did type in flat Earth, so I'm trying to actually find flat Earth ones that flat Earthers have done. So I'm not being biased.
No, I was trying not to be biased. That's why I put in just flat Earth as well. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear the flat earthers take on what they think.
Essentially, have is a flat sun above us, giving us these parallel.
See, now like I said, when he gets into the flat sun, that's really screwing with things. The sun.
Yeah, I mean,
the sun doesn't have to be flat to give us the parallel lines. What he's about to say.
I mean, you know, that's what we said. The flat sun. If it's 93 million miles away, it's not going to even appear flat. If it's right next to you, it'd be dead anyway. So you know.
Yeah, but he
it's
was
not-
going to say about the parallel lines. It's coming. The
Yeah,
light
yeah,
rays.
exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
Lines of sunlight. Yeah. So of course, then with the globe Earth model, you say, well, this person is looking up at this angle and this angle relative to the Earth's surface, and we got parallel lines of sunlight. But this doesn't fit our reality. It's been made to work for the model, because basically by giving us a curved surface and saying wherever you are on that curved surface, you're looking up at parallel lines of light, or we have parallel lines of light hitting the Earth because the sun's much larger than the Earth, and so we can then judge or calculate or measure the angles of elevation to the sun, or the shadows that are created by the sun at the angle relative to the sun for this person or that person on the globe. Let's just give you an example here of the shadow you see. So I've put these black lines in to represent shadow created by these parallel lines of sunlight from a much more massive sun coming onto a globe. But there's a problem here with this model that doesn't fit reality, because what's actually going to happen with such a massive sun casting all this light onto a globe Earth? We're not going to get any shadows. Why? Because I have a line here representing sunlight coming in from this side over here. Bearing in mind the idea is that the sun is much larger than the Earth, so the sunlight is going
it's
to come
93
down
million miles
past
away,
us,
you
but it's
dumbass.
also going to come down in this direction, and it would eliminate the shadow. You see, it would be impossible to say this light here, this ray of light is casting a shadow from this person, because actually this person will also have light shining on them from this direction, so you would not get a shadow. Yeah? So given the model, the heliocentric model, which has us on a small Earth compared to a large sun that's beaming down light.
I've never known light to
entire
pause.
Half of the globe Earth facing the sun.
Why aren't you
It still
pausing?
means that.
Yeah, stop.
So basically, what he's doing is he's making the assumption that the sun is local, but using the scale of the true scale of the sun.
Yeah.
It's what he's doing, and no, it's 93 million miles away, and we know this by geometry. It's not bloody rocket science. Christ alive, learn a bit of geometry, parallax, and you've got it. There it is. We can prove it. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do it. Oh God. That. I mean, what he's explaining, it might be true, but that will that's only true if you've got a whole flipping band of light that's right above stick people that are 2 inches tall on top of a football that's fucking, I don't know, a few meters wide. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck me.
It would be impossible for anyone or anything to cast a shadow on the Earth, because you would always have light coming in from other directions, eliminating the shadow. It's simple. When you compare the ideas in the model, these compartmentalized ideas or so-called proofs or illustrations, with reality, we know that if we're on a stage and there is a light over here and a light over here beaming down on us, basically the equivalent to having a massive sun above us, we would not have a shadow either side. Or the shadows would be faded or out of focus, or we'd get lots of different shadows. Yeah, but the fact is that when we're on the Earth, we get very, very
lots of different shadows.
And that's
from one light source.
In a situation like this, yeah, where we have a sun that has an objective position above the Earth, and it really doesn't matter how far away it is.
Yes, it does.
But what happens is that we get shadows, and this is only possible on a flat Earth with a local sun.
No, it's not.
Yeah? No. It simply
it's possible if you've got a very large sun that's 93 million miles away.
3 or 4 or 5 positions with different people looking up at the sun, you will get different angles. they don't necessarily meet. Well, again, there are two factors there, because first of all, we have the individual subjective perspective of each observer. Again, there will be an apparent difference in the height of the sun above the surface for the individual observer.
Each
But
person has
also,
their own sun.
to what part of the sun are you
yeah,
measuring?
got the right
Are you
that'd
measuring
solve it.
to the centre of the sun, and how big or small
Actually,
is that
here's a little.
sun? If, for example,
I've got a little tidbit of information for you. Okay, if Earth was the size of a soccer ball, in a relative model, the sun would be 2.4 kilometers away.
Wow.
So and relative size to that soccer ball, the moon's about the size of a tennis ball.
Somebody did that on a desert thing, didn't they? They stuck a big sun in the centre.
Yeah, I'll find that video and I'll post it.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Laurie said the sun is local, guys.
Yeah, Laurie being Laurie's just baiting.
Yeah, the sun, SON, is local.
Oh, the sun is local. Yeah, okay, not SUN.
Yeah. Yeah, my son is local. He's upstairs in bed.
let's just try right now and make a large sun, okay? On a new layer. All right, make it yellow, and let's just make it, all right, like that.
They're still doing it wrong.
Some yellow, okay, boom. So here we have a large sun.
Jeez.
Again, it can be any distance or any height. It really doesn't matter.
What do you mean it could be any distance? Stop saying that.
At what point for any observer do you figure that they are looking at their line of sight?
And if you weren't getting sunburnt before, you're definitely going to get sunburnt now.
Is it here, going towards the centre? Is it down here? And how large or small does that sun appear for the observer? Of course, we are told that the sun is much more massive, but 400 times further away from us than, say, the moon. I can't remember if those are the exact figures, but basically the idea is that the sun looks small because it's so far away. But when you try to model this or illustrate this, you can, of course, you can.
So what could be the problem with that?
Like. It's arbitrary. The distance and the size to the sun, you just try and make it fit to the presupposition that we're on a globe.
God.
But ultimately, you have to come back to making those comparisons with real life. That if the sun is larger than the Earth, globe or otherwise, we simply wouldn't have shadows on the Earth. It doesn't matter where you are on
the sun. Okay, the sun is 1.3 million kilometers wide, compared to the Earth, which is about 8,000.
Yeah, he can't scale at all.
No, you definitely can't scale.
Which is 93 million miles away. So if you draw the scale between 93 million miles away and 1.3 million miles diameter,
No, we have to break this down to kilometers, because I got the measurement in kilometers. So it's 1.39 million kilometers, and we need to take the 149.6 million kilometers away. Okay.
Yeah.
So if the sun was close, okay, there's another. So the distance of the sun will fit in between Earth and the sun. Do you understand that for scale?
Yep, I can understand that. Yep, totally.
Okay, because the sun will engulf everything. Okay, if you put another sun right next to it, it would reach out past Mars. This is what they don't get with scale of the size of the damn sun.
Yeah. Or any part of the solar system or the universe or anything like that. Don't get it.
Yeah, well, the sun's rays make it to the outside, to the outer edge of the solar system.
Yeah. You know, I don't understand how somebody so intelligent can be so fucking stupid.
Dishonest.
I don't know if he's lying or not. I mean, like, it's like Dory says. She said that he really believes it. So, but how can, he's ignoring one simple fact that if you had a sun that was so large and it was so far away, it would bloody work. The shadows would work. But he's ignoring it. Why? I can't understand why he can't just figure that out. My 13-year-old daughter could work this out.
Because he wants the world to be flat. He wants his narrative to be right.
Yeah, exactly.
For him, I know people don't like going down the psychological route, but for him, I honestly feel that, he copied someone with the same homework or done something, and it was ignored. It wasn't given the same response as that person was. So he's sort of like, that's okay, I'll go do my own little thing. So he's found this, latched onto it, and now he believes it, regardless.
I actually think it's even one step further than that. The whole, if the Earth is flat, that makes him special. He's one of the ones that have latched onto it. It makes him feel important.
Oh, yeah.
Hence why he's making all these videos.
Yeah.
Makes him appear wise and,
Exactly.
somehow more intelligent than anybody else.
Yeah, no, he believes it wholeheartedly. He knows it's not true deep down, but he still believes it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm really beginning to think actually he's a Poe.
So
I can't prove it. I can't be sure, but I'm beginning to think he is.
Well, especially
I was just going to say, just so you know, Terry, I've dropped another 2 in the internal chat. One's another one of Phuket. We're doing more shadow experiments with torches and stuff.
Oh, okay.
However, there is one that you're going to find very interesting from Abu Dhabi, off that really tall building off Abu Dhabi.
The Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, and that's a pretty cool one, I reckon.
That actually has to have a clock on every floor, so that Muslims know when they have to start fasting.
Yes, because
or pray mostly.
Well, no, for Ramadan, they're not allowed to eat once the sun
comes up.
Once it's daylight, they're not allowed to eat. So they actually have to have a clock on every floor, so they know when they can actually start eating and when to stop eating for Ramadan.
Yes, for the Dennis Rudderman.
Yes, okay.
Now, of course, we know that we do have shadows throughout the day. It doesn't matter whether you're on the equator or way up north or south. Our length of shadow changes throughout the day.
Actually, so Mr. Phuket word, if you pick the right time, you will have no shadow in Phuket. Shit.
Yeah, but even if the sun's directly above you, you still would have a shadow.
No,
you just lift your foot up.
You just move the goalpost. No, if he was standing and it was directly above his head.
So talking about goalposts, if it was a goalpost, the shadow would disappear. If it was a light
it would make it look like it didn't belong there.
So that means he just moves the goalpost so it's no shadow constantly.
Yeah.
Observation of our reality that tells us that the light source is local or smaller, and we are stationary, and the light source is moving above us to create those moving shadows. Because in this scenario, it doesn't matter if you're on a globe that's moving. Once you're facing the sun, there will be no shadows. It's either light or dark. There would be no shadows. So the only way we can actually observe shadows on the Earth is with this kind of scenario. A large sun or a small sun, height above the Earth, irrelevant, doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that it makes a lot more common sense, and it's demonstrably so, when you make an illustration and in real life that we have a
In
sun
his illustrations.
somewhere above a flat Earth. It's moving about, creating shadows of different length throughout the day, depending on your location. So, of course, if you're never near the equator, if you're always north of the equator, then you're never going to have no shadow. You'll always have a shadow. Now, the length of the shadow will depend on how far away the sun has gotten from you. Yeah? So that will then change the length of the shadow. And again, I encourage people to just try this for themselves. Go and make your own little models. Get a flat surface, get a curved surface, move the light about, move the surface about, and you will see for yourself what this actually means. If you try to model what we are told is our reality when we are given this heliocentric model, a massive light source beaming down on us on this small body. It's simple.
From 93 million miles
so
away,
anyone who
Mr.
brings up Eratosthenes or even sticks and shadows as some kind of observational proof that we live on a globe, they have no grasp on reality. All they can ever do is argue from the point of a model. But even so, as we've seen, that model and the assumptions made for that model have no basis in reality.
Yeah, but you made the model completely wrong. That model there, right there, is wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
Wrong. He's
Wrong.
fucking wrong. He's put a very large sun very close to an Earth, completely out of scale. I mean, how can that even be an accurate representation of anything, let alone reality? Holy
Terry?
crap! Yeah.
Yeah, I've dropped you a Wolfie 6020, no shadow at local noon, Darwin, Australia, 25th of October 2018. It's in Vid's for homework.
I think I must be tired because I'm getting angry.
You want it on the internal chat, Terry?
Yeah, I'm just putting that in. So I've got it ready.
I just think it's such a waste of somebody who's actually quite intelligent to talk like that. I really do. I really, really do. Such a waste.
Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You got the other fucking word, but I reckon that one.
Do the Abu Dhabi one.
Abba-dubba-dubba-dubby.
Because we need a break from Phuket word in between.
Okay.
Yeah. My head might explode. I might get really cross and start throwing stuff about. Burj Khalifa.
We don't sound. Oh, I've got another shadow one too. Oh shit, I've got no idea where that is. It shows the sunset in a building that's high up as the sun comes through the window, and it casts a shadow of the people on a wall behind them, and you can see their shadow is taller than them, so the sun is lower. I don't know what I've done with that one.
There it is. Look.
That looks like a shadow. What was that one supposed to show?
Burj Khalifa, the shadow of the Burj Khalifa and the other
Yeah, but
buildings around it.
it reveals the rotation of the Earth, like as the Earth's turning, the shadow.
Yeah.
If you look at the point of the shadow, you can see the shape that it produces.
Yeah. Also,
if a flat Earth, it wouldn't produce that shape, would it?
Terry, I know you're a bit older than me, right?
Mm.
And I know I did it in primary school. Did you ever make a sundial?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Never.
No.
So you never, even as a kid, you never stuck a stick in the ground and watched its shadow?
No.
Oh, so that's the problem. Terry hasn't got the right indoctrination.
No, I haven't been indoctrinated like these flat earthers say.
So look how the point is getting closer to the camera, to the observer. I wonder why that is.
Because it's getting higher in the sky. Because of its angle of its dangle.
The angle of its dangle, yeah.
So that's earlier in the day, and then as the shadow gets shorter, it's getting close to more midday.
Yeah, the sun
Yeah.
rising to higher in the sky.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes on a September morning, I wonder why when I walk to the shop and get my paper and do whatever, my shadow's quite long, and then later on the day it's a bit shorter. I wonder why.
The sun's further away.
Magic.
That local sun is getting closer to you as it
Yeah.
gets ready to go over you, and then it goes away from you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
my
thought.
own personal local sun. Don't forget, that's revolving around my head.
Does it
Yeah,
get warm?
it-
Does
it
it
go-
get in England? Does it get warmer when it's midday over there?
Yeah, I suppose it does.
It goes with your personal dome. And you've got a personal moon, personal eclipses, personal rainbows.
That nobody else can see.
No,
You can only see
just
your own. Actually, it'd be quite handy to have your own personal dome, wouldn't it? You'd never get wet in the rain.
It's called an umbrella.
What's that? You never get wet in the rain.
Wet in the rain? No, it came out a bit wrong, didn't it? Wet in the rain.
I don't want to get wet in the rain. I better get an umbrella.
What a wabbit. I think my mouth is starting to go to sleep as well now.
I think I'm going to go back and join in the iPad because this sucks. Stupid computer.
Do you want to say that word a bit louder? Sucks!
You think you're getting angry? Oh.
Ooh.
It won't run YouTube and Zoom together. It's so bloody slow.
Have you ever seen an angry Scottish woman at full pelt? It's a scary thing, trust me.
Yes, quite often. Just look in the mirror.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what the mirror's for, isn't it, Pip?
Exactly.
The only time these sundial things work with the shadow is if we know their location, things like that.
Well, you could easily make a sundial. All you need to do is just find north.
Mm.
That's pretty much all you need, really. Once you've got that, you can work out roughly the times of the day. Obviously, its highest point, that's going to be your midday. So then you can, if you dissect it from where, from sunrise to sunset, and you can then just dissect it, which you give you your hours. If you dissect it relatively equally.
The thing you need to realise, Terry, that it will also give you your localised noon. It won't necessarily give you noon as in your clock time. It will give you noon as per when the sun is at the highest in its transit across the Earth.
to find north, all we need is a paper clip, a leaf, and a bowl of water.
Yep.
Is the bottle of water if you're thirsty?
Bowl of water.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, bowl, dog bowl.
Bowl.
Do you know? Do you guys want to know another trick for working out the time if you don't have a clock?
Go on then.
Right. So, take your hand, fold your thumb in to your palm, and hold your palm, your hand out at arm's length so the palm is facing you. Right. See how you got your four fingers going straight out? What you would do is you would put your little finger to the horizon, and then the top of your index finger would be 1 hour. Okay, you then get your other hand to do the same thing on top of the other one, and you're at 2. You then move the other one, you're at 3. Move the other one.
Not everybody's fingers are the same length though, because some people.
No. It's just it's just a guess. Okay, but it's very
actually,
close.
It actually works very well, because of your arm length in comparison to your finger size will actually.
It's relative to your eyesight.
It all becomes relative to your eyesight, so it all actually does work.
I was just going to say, ring up, find out, because you've got that automatic phone clock or something, don't you?
Okay. No phone. No coin for the telephone box if there's even one around. And you don't have a clock.
Next you'll be saying I can't look at the moss on one side of the tree. You know, on the south, the moss on the south side of the tree in the southern hemisphere, or the moss on the north side of the tree in the northern hemisphere. You never heard that one?
Yeah, but you've got no tree.
Oh, okay.
But this is an observation you can do if you have a relatively flat plane.
If that's the case, I was going to say, just holler out because somebody will hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you didn't need someone to come and help you, but you didn't know what the time was, that solution can give you a rough to the hour estimate. All right, so basically, if you get to a point where the sun is in between your 2 fingers, it's half an hour. So you could get it to within 15 minutes.
Can we watch this video?
Yes.
Video surfing around YouTube. It's a time lapse of a sundial taken over a period of several hours. I'm just going to play a little bit now, and then we're going to go into a fair amount of depth, looking at exactly how that shadow moves and whether it supports a globe Earth or a flat Earth model. So here's the video. So this carries on, of course, and the shadow moves around and around like this.
Oh, look, the clock said, "What about me?"
Until eventually it disappears from view. So first of all, just a shout out to Gadzonian Productions, who made this video. Check out mine with predictions made for a flat plane with a close circling sun. And the method I'm going to use is I'm going to determine first of all the overall movement of the shadow. Is it in a circle, as the flat earthers in the comments seem to believe, or is that shadow tracing a straight line or close to a straight line? Next, I'm going to verify the shadow length and the angle of the shadow at solar noon. I'm going to check that they match the expected values taken from timeanddate.com, which is essentially predicts the values we expect to see on a ball, on a globe Earth. And then we're going to calibrate that to a flat Earth model at solar noon. That'll give us a baseline for a prediction we can make for later on. So that prediction will be predictions for those values, the shadow's length and angle, for a different time of day, based on the flat Earth and globe models. And then we can compare both the flat Earth and the globe Earth predictions with the sundial results we see in the video. So first of all, let's determine the overall movement. This is a pretty easy one to do. So basically, adding a little dot at each hour of the sun's movement and the shadow's movement. So moving it on hour by hour, we can add dot after dot after dot, and we can see exactly the line that shadow is tracing. So that's 5 hours of movement. So there is a line from the first point to the last, and you can see that the shadow has traced almost exactly a straight line. Not completely, but almost exactly. There's a slight curve there to it, as you would expect at this location. We'll get into that in a second. But this isn't on the equator, this isn't on an equinox, and so you are not going to get a completely straight line. That, by the way, is the only time you get a completely straight line shadow on Earth, which is on the equinox at the equator. So that is the curve that you might expect. This isn't quite scaled correctly, but it just gives an idea. Over 5 hours, the sun would have moved 72 degrees around its circle if it was circling overhead. That's a 72-degree arc of a circle. So you can see that there's a long, long way between the line that the shadow should have traced if the Earth was flat and the sun was circling overhead, and the line it has actually traced. But as I say, the scale isn't great on that, so let's move on to the next part of the experiment. Before we do, let's just revisit the comment from Mojo Jojo there. If the ball was spinning, the shadow would not have spun around like that, but only moved in a linear fashion from right to left with very little circular movement. Well, as you can see, it's pretty much done that, right to left with very little circular movement. So I'm not sure how you were assessing the video, Mojo Jojo, but it seems like you've just proven to yourself that we live on a ball. So let's move on. Next, I'm going to verify the shadow length and the angle at solar noon, verify that they match the expected values from timeanddate.com, and then we'll calibrate that to the flat Earth model. So let me explain. This video was shot in Albany, New York State, on the 21st of August 2012. This is from the comments in the video itself. There's Albany, towards the east coast of United States, and it's situated at 42 degrees latitude north by 73 degrees longitude west. So we'll put those values on. So what we're going to do now is have a look at solar noon. Now this is a screen grab from timeanddate.com on that date, 21st of August 2012. We can see that solar noon was at 12:58 on that day. Now bear in mind that this is local time. 12:58 is solar noon in daylight savings time in Albany at that time of year. And there we can see in the comments of the video where the poster had said, I actually changed the clock in this video back 1 hour to account for the fact we're in daylight savings time when this was filmed. So although it was 12:58, the clock in the video will say 11:58 for solar noon. And we can see there that at solar noon, the bearing of the sun is 180 degrees south. So it's pointing, so the shadow should be pointing exactly due north. So here we are at 11:58 according to the clock, and that's the way the shadow is pointing, exactly due north. Now, the guy who made the video had added an arrow with north on there. He did say in the comments that he'd used a compass to set that direction, that northerly bearing, and I've since confirmed that with him directly. He said yes, he did use a compass, so that will be pointing to magnetic north, not true north. So that explains the difference in these angles. We can just check that out with Google Earth. So Albany is down here, magnetic north is here, true north is here, and we can see this angle between the two. And that angle is very, very close to this angle here that we get between the arrow in the drawn on the pavement and this direction of the shadow. It's about an 8-degree angle. If we overlay one on the other, then you can see they're very, very similar. Not exactly the same, but then that's accounting for the terrain and the angle of the video. So I think we can safely assume that the angle in that video is in fact, or the shadow in the video, excuse me, is in fact pointing directly to true north. So now that we know that, let's look at the globe Earth prediction on timeanddate.com of the altitude of the sun. So the sun should be at 59 degrees in the sky. So we can model this. There's our gnomon, the stick. Here's the sun shining its rays down like that and creating a shadow on the ground. Now if the angle of the sun over the horizon is 59 degrees, then this angle here will also be 59 degrees. So what we're going to do now is work out the proportion of the height of the gnomon, the stick, to the shadow, and then compare it to the video and see if they match. So we don't know the height of the stick. We're going to assign it a value of 1, because we're only looking at the proportion, and the shadow will be represented by S. So this, of course, is a right angle triangle. We have an angle here. We have the shadow length here, which is the adjacent side, and the height of the stick, which is the opposite side to the angle. So we're going to use tangent. So solar noon, tangent of 59 degrees is opposite over adjacent, 1 over S. Rearranging that equation, that gives us a value of S of 1 over tangent 59. So S equals 0.6 when you work that out. And that means that that's 60% of the gnomon height. So now we can check this against the video. Now I've taken a screen grab, I put it into Adobe Illustrator and took some measurements. These obviously aren't the actual measurements of the height of the stick or the shadow, but they're the measurements that came directly from the screen grab in my graphics editing program of 126 millimeters by 76 millimeters. So when you divide one by the other, multiply by 100, we get a value of 59%. So we can see that at this altitude of 59 degrees, the expected calculated shadow gnomon proportion was 60%, and the value we got from the video was 59%. And due to rounding and the fact that we don't know exactly where in Albany the video was shot, I think that's pretty good. That's close enough, within 1 degree. That's an acceptable margin of error. So we can safely say that the video matches what we'd predict on a globe according to timeanddate.com. But of course, this could work this one specific measurement could work on a flat plane if the sun was close and at a specific height. So now let's calculate the height of the flat Earth sun at solar noon. And this is then going to serve as a baseline for later on when we turn time forward and make some predictions based on these values. So first of all, we need to determine exactly where the sun is on our flat Earth. Here's Albany at 42 degrees north, and I need to find a spot, find out where the sun is. Now, it's down here somewhere, we know that because it's shining due north and casting a shadow in a northerly direction. So it must be south of Albany. On the flat Earth model, the sun is close and circling, and it will circle around like this during the day, making 1 revolution every 24 hours. So I did some digging and found on this date, 21st of August, in a location called Rio Hacha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm going to call it
I
Rio
can't
Hacha,
reach the mute button quick
in
enough
Colombia.
sometimes.
At 11:54, so just a few minutes before the solar noon time in Albany, which is 11:58, the sun had an altitude of 90 degrees. That means it's directly overhead at its zenith. So we now know that the sun was directly overhead Rio Hacha and around the time of solar noon in Albany. So there's Riohacha, and that's 11 degrees north. And there's Albany. So the sun shining this way, and we know it's if the Earth is flat, if that model is correct, then this is the location for the sun. We can also find out the distance between Albany and Riohacha, which is 2,100.
I might have missed something when I sneezed. Did he? He said where the sun was, but did he work out how high the sun was?
That's what he's trying to do.
He's only just got the direction of the sun first.
Yeah, he's trying to work out how high it is in the flat Earth.
145 miles, thereabouts. We can confirm this as well because the difference in latitude between 42 north and 11 north is 31 degrees. And if we divide 2,145 by 31, you get 69 thereabouts. And every line of latitude on the Earth is measured at 69 miles, so we know that that's correct. So our measurements seem good. Riohacha is 2,145 miles from Albany, and we know the sun is tending an angle of 59 degrees. We've measured that. So now let's work out the height of the sun at this location. Again, we have a right angled triangle.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't figure out.
And again,
how did he determine Riohacha was the distance for the sun? That's the part I've missed.
Well, that's what he's determining now, isn't it?
No, he's already worked out that Riohacha was 2145 miles. So how did he figure that bit out? That's the bit I missed.
Yeah, but no, he's got the angle of 59 degrees. So now you know at least like one that side of the triangle, 2,145 miles. We know the angle at 59 degrees. So that's why he's just about to work out the distance between Albany and the sun.
So I think he used that solar calculator that he used before, Terry, to find out where the sun was perpendicular on the Earth.
Yes, he's looking for somewhere near that's got a solar noon or something.
Yeah.
Right,
Somewhere
okay.
where the solar noon lined up to the.
That's how you found it then.
To the noon.
Round about there, Terry, I think.
Oh, okay. So the sun was directly overhead at that point. Okay.
.45 miles from Albany, and we know the sun is tending an angle of 59 degrees. We've measured that. So now let's work out the height of the sun at this location. Again, we have a right angled triangle, and again we have an opposite and an adjacent side. So we're going to use tangent once more. So the tangent of angle 59 is equal to the opposite height over the adjacent, 2145. Rearranging the equation, the height equals tangent 59 times 2145, and that gives us a height of 3,570 miles. So we now know that the height of the sun in this model is 3,570 miles above the Earth. Remember this for later, because it's going to come in useful.
Yeah.
So now, as any good scientist should do, let's make some predictions based on the results that we've already got. So we're going to turn time forwards by 4 hours, from 11:58 to 3:58. We'll make some predictions based on these previous results. So here we are at 3:58, and we can see that the sun is now casting a shadow in this direction, almost a 90-degree angle to true north. At this time of day, bear in mind again, daylight savings time is in effect in Albany, but not Riohacha. So we have a time of 4:58 on here. It's the same as 358 in the video. So at this time we have an altitude of the sun, or an angle of the sun, of 30 degrees. So let's do that same calculation again and see how it comes out, and then we can compare with the result from the video. So it's the same calculation as before. We'll assign a value of 1 for the gnomon, and S for the shadow, and our angle is 30 degrees. So a tangent to angle 30 is 1 over S. Rearranging that, S equals 1 over tangent 30. So S is 1.73. So that means that the shadow should be 173% of the gnomon height, or 1.73 times greater. So now let's look at the measurements from my screen grab. The height of the gnomon hasn't changed, 126 millimeters. The shadow is now 219 millimeters. And when you divide the shadow height by the gnomon height, you get 1.73. So that's an exact match, 173%. So we can see that at that altitude, 30 degrees, we expected a shadow proportion to the gnomon of 173%, and the measured proportion is also 173%. We can also use our measurements from the video to check the sun's angle and work it back and see if it comes out to 30 degrees from our measurements. So there's our measurements, 126, 219. We'll put those in and we can work that backwards. Angle A, tangent of angle A will be 126 over 219. That's a value of 0.575. And when you work that out, that gives an angle of A as 30 degrees, which matches the prediction made on timeanddate.com. All good, everything's matching so far. So now we'll look at the angle. Here's the angle from the at 358 again. Here's north, and here is the shadow angle. And this is the angle we want to find out. Now when I take this, again within Adobe Illustrator, and use the ruler tool to measure this angle, we see that it's 105.8 degrees, so 106 degrees, rounding up. According to time and date, the heading of the sun is 258 degrees. That means that the shadow would be 360 minus 258, so that'd be 102 degrees. We measured it at 106 degrees, so we're slightly out, we're 4 degrees out. It's pretty close, but not exact. So now let's work out the same values for our flat Earth model. This gets a little more complicated, but bear with me. So again, here's Albany. Here's the sun at solar noon in just above Rheahatcher. Now we know that 4 hours have passed. Now in 24 hours the sun completes a circuit all the way around this circle. So in 4 hours it will have travelled 360 degrees divided by 24 times 4, and that's 60 degrees. So travelling from there to there, it's travelled through an angle of 60 degrees. Now drawing this out as a triangle, we can see that because this angle is 60 degrees, and because these are
60 and 60.
2 points that connected to the middle of a circle, then this has to be an equilateral triangle. So 3 angles 60 degrees and 3 sides all the same. But this is the distance we want to work out, the distance between the sun, and Albany, where our sundial is located. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this triangle in isolation and add some more measurements to it. So we know the distance between the North Pole and Rheahatcher. I've measured that, it's 5,421 miles. The distance between North Pole and Albany is 3276, and between Albany and Rheahatcher, 2145. So we have a lot of information there, almost enough to get the distance from the Sun to Albany. The next thing we're going to do is calculate this distance here, the actual height of the triangle. This would be the same from here to here, or from here to here, because it's equilateral. There's a simple formula to calculate the height of an equilateral triangle, which is the width of the base divided by 2 multiplied by the square root of 3. And when you work that out, you get a value of 4,694.7 miles. So now we have all the information we need. Now, I could at this point split this up into separate right angled triangles and work out hypotenuses and so on, but I'm not going to bother doing that because there is an online calculator solving tool which is really cool. I'll link in the description. If we take this part of the triangle, there's Albany and there's the top of our triangle, then we can plot these coordinates into this coordinate tool online and it will solve the triangle for us. So basically I've just plotted in the 3 points of the triangle, it's resolved it for us here, and we can see there that the distance that we're looking at between the Sun and Albany is 4,728 miles. So now we have our distance, that's great. So now we should be able to work out the angular height of the Sun. We do that again with a little bit of trigonometry, tangent once more. So here's Albany. We've worked out the distance between Albany and the Sun, which is 4,728 miles. Remember the Sun height from earlier on at 3,570 miles. And we can work out this angle. Once again, we use tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. And when you plug in the numbers, you work out that the tangent of this angle is 0.7551, which makes the angle of A 37 degrees. So in our flat Earth model, the Sun, after it's travelled for 4 hours, would be at an angular height of 37 degrees with the horizon. However, the angle on timeanddate.com and the angle that we worked out was 30 degrees. So we expected 30 degrees, but we calculated at 37. That's a variance of 23%. That's really quite large. It's well outside the acceptable margin for error. So at the moment, things aren't looking that great for flat Earth. But let's see how the Sun's angle works out. So once again, here's our observer in Albany, here's north, and here's the angle, the direction to the Sun. So this is the angle we're trying to work out. Once again, we have our triangle. Once again, we have some known values between these points. And so, again, I've plotted these points into this triangle solver. And it's given us an angle here, angle A, 83.132 degrees. So 83 degrees. Now, if this angle is 83 degrees, then it stands to reason that the Sun shining this way along this straight line path would cast a shadow at 97-degree angle to true north. This flat line will be 180 degrees. 180 minus 83 is 97. So that's what it looks like when you plot out a 97-degree angle onto our screen grab. As you can see, it's quite a lot smaller than the actual angle that we see tended by the Sun. Now, the only issue here, and this is why both measurements could be out, is that you can see this isn't exactly a completely flat surface. This road has a bit of a curve to it, or a camber, so it's difficult to know if these shadows are accurate. Also, we're at a side-on angle, so there's the issue. It's 102 degrees from time and date.
What happened there?
But we
I
calculated the
I
shadow
pressed
angle
pressed
at
pause by accident.
97 degrees. That was closer than the previous result, but finally, let's look at the shadow length. So once again,
I got
we
closed caption
calculated
going.
our sun angle at 36 degrees on our flat Earth model, and giving the gnomon a height of 1, let's work out S.
I love it how he's actually done it on both Flat Earth and the Globe Earth model.
Yeah, that's what I'm enjoying, that part of it.
Yeah, so it's actually giving you both sides of how it is and how it would be on the Flat Earth.
Yeah, we're a little bit out so far in one calculation.
So again, it's tangent. Tangent of 36 is 1 over S. Rearranging that, S equals 1 over tangent 36. So S equals 1.38, or a value of 138% of the gnomon height. However, we measured the shadow gnomon proportion at 173 degrees. Sorry, 173%. But we've just calculated it at 138%. That's a huge difference. So let's review what we've done. First, we looked to verify that the shadow position and length of solar noon match expected values. As we saw, the shadow's position, its direction to true north, matched the expected value that we saw on Google Earth. And the shadow's proportion to the gnomon, we expected a value of 60% and we measured it at 59%. So that was close enough to be sure that the video matched our expectations. Then we created a prediction for a different time of day, 4:58 local time, 3:58 on the clock on the video, based on the flat Earth model. So our flat Earth predictions, based on pure maths, were a shadow bearing at 97 degrees, a sun altitude of 37 degrees, and a proportion of the shadow to the gnomon at 138%. Our globe predictions came out at 102 degrees, a sun altitude of 30 degrees, and a shadow proportion to the gnomon of 173%. And the measurements we took directly from the sundial video were 106 degrees for the shadow bearing, 30 degrees for the sun altitude, and 173 degrees for the proportion. So for these first two, flat Earth prediction, well, that was quite a long way off the value we measured. We measured 106. We were 9 degrees out with the flat Earth prediction. The globe prediction was closer at 102 degrees, but it's likely that that was the accurate one, and that both the measurement and the flat Earth prediction were out, possibly due to the uneven surface of the road. So that one was inconclusive. However, the sun altitude was a long way out in the flat Earth prediction, 37 degrees versus 30 degrees for the globe prediction, which was absolutely bang on what we measured from the sundial video. And the shadow's proportion to the gnomon, again, the flat Earth prediction was way out at 138% of the shadow height compared to the gnomon, versus the globe prediction at 173%, which was exactly what we measured in the video. So in conclusion, although this hasn't been 100% conclusive, and no experiment really is, this experiment strongly suggests that the globe model is able to predict the sundial shadow patterns far more accurately than the flat Earth model. But I'd encourage you to do your own experiments and determine for yourself which model has the most validity. Thank you for watching.
Oh, that was interesting.
I thought you'd like that one, Terry.
I did like that one.
I actually picked that one because it did show both sides of the coin as it would be.
There's only one thing wrong. He never took perspective into account.
Or the Ether band.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
Now, I've thrown a few in the side chat there for you to choose from, Terry. There's actually one that an Australian did for Sly and Whoopi. His name's Andrew Eddy. And he was up in, I can't remember, it was either Northern Queensland or Northern Territory. And did a very similar thing to what Demonic was talking about earlier, the whole solar moon and the sun being over the top of his head and all that type of stuff.
Which one's his?
So it's the one that I wrote. Andrew Eddy, Flat Earth, Equinox, Zenith Shadow, the Sly and Whoopi. That's the one just below that. On the internal chat.
Yeah, Wolfie.
I've got to go back up.
I'll drop the link
Wolfie.
again for you. It's all right.
All right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna call it quits.
All right, die quietly.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'll try and die quietly.
Get well before your next video.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, bye for now, Casual.
Right, you can have a bit of peace and quiet from my sniffing and coughing now.
Bye.
Night, Casual.
And your headphones up again.
It wasn't bothering me. I could
I
just.
hope you feel better.
Yeah. Get well soon.
Yeah. All right. See you later, folks.
Bye.
See you, Casual.
Bye. I'll drop the link again for you, Terry, for that one.
Milkman Dan's dropped in.
Oh, Milkman Dan.
Is this one over in Discord homework?
It will be.
Yeah. I was just going to put it in there if you didn't.
No, I'm on the ball with all that so far. I've got most of the ones that I've dropped in here for you over there.
So it's Friday, September 22nd, and I'm in the Glasshouse Mountains, and it is 11:39. It is 2 minutes from solar noon where I am, and you can see I'm almost at 27 degrees south latitude. Just to get a picture of where we are, we're just across the road from the Glasshouse Medical Centre. And there's the IGA that's there, and a can with Glasshouse Mountains on it. So, just check the time again. And we're pretty close to solar moon at the moment, and we'll just check our little app here. Says the table we're on is fairly level. And my setup for the shadow is here. We've got a little Imperial Stormtrooper there, making sure everything is up to standard. And yeah, so we've got a shadow about halfway through the road here. Just check what time it is. Just waiting for that to tick over to 11:41, and it has, so we'll take a measurement here, just in pencil, make a measurement there, and so what we can do now is we'll get back into the shade a bit, so we can get a bit of exposure. We'll disassemble my tower here, take that off, couple of measurements. So we'll start on the one there. We are 153 millimetres high, and the shadow went out. I've got to be able to get it there. I just have to put a block back. I'll move this one down to here. Take that fella off. And so, well, where's that shadow? It's about 80 millimetres. And maybe 81 millimetres. So with a bit of luck, when I get back home, I'll be able to calculate the angle, and hopefully it will be very close to 27 degrees.
Okay.
So with that, he's actually working out using that to work out where his position is in relevance to the equator and all of that type of stuff.
That was back in 2017, so there'd have to be an update for that one somewhere.
Yeah, I'll keep looking. There was another good one that I've just dropped. I've actually dropped through, but oh no. So the eclipse moon shadow experiment, which is the last one I just dropped. So it gives you a visual demonstration on why the moon's shadow isn't as big on the Earth as the flat Earth people believe it should be.
Oh, eclipse moon shadow experiment. Okay, I'll try that one.
Hello, I'm back, and you can see I've got my thinking cap on because I've been doing some thinking. I've been thinking about this eclipse coming up and why the shadow is only 70 to 80 miles across when the moon is something like 2,100 miles across. So usually in a shadow situation, the shadow is the same size or larger than the object that's casting it. So why are we only getting 70 to 80 mile diameter spot moving across the Earth? So I set up a little experiment where I've got a ball on a string. I've got a single source studio light shining at a white background. And as I move the ball close to the background, yeah, it looks like it holds true. The shadow is the same size as the object that's casting it. But interesting thing happens when I move it out and try to keep it in the middle of the light. The shadow starts to disperse around the edges, and it is larger, but it's also very faint with a dark spot in the middle. So it is possible. Let's see if I can move that in and out for you. There we go. See that it's got that small dark spot right in the middle. So I guess you could argue that that's the same effect that's happening with the eclipse, and why it is only 70 to 80 miles across in the total eclipse path. So there it is. It is possible to have what looks like a shadow that is actually smaller than the object that is casting the shadow. So that's it. The next question I got to solve though is, why is it moving from west to east? I'll work on that one. But bye for now.
Milkman Dan wants one of those hats. We'll see if we can get you one.
I've dropped another one in there, Terry, that does that whole I'm not going to be able to say his name without embarrassing myself. Eratosthenes, calculating the Earth's circumference experiment. So that's,
Peter,
yeah.
I can help you with his name.
Yeah, don't ask me to say it.
You may wonder.
No.
Why am
I'm going to give you like.
Well, do it. Don't talk about it.
Yeah. So
Just do it. Error.
Okay. Toss. Tarnies. Tarnies. Eratosthenes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but if you think of an error, and then you toss it to the knees. Eratosthenes.
Yeah, him. Anyway.
Him anyway,
Yeah,
Right, Greek fella.
That Greek bloke that worked out how round we were.
Yeah, that guy. And also there's another guy. His name was Aristotle, who was one of the first people to say, I think it's round. And then there's this other guy named Pythagoras that like sort of worked out all that geometry and stuff and things, and worked out circumferences and triangles and stuff.
That's why I put this one on, because I knew that you'd like this one.
Yeah. Go the Greeks.
I stuck the scale model one.
Yeah, I see
in
that.
In the chat too.
Yeah. Got too many tabs open.
You're just doing your high IQ research there, Terry.
But like I'm doing research and it's high IQ because I'm like a skeptic and stuff, and like doing all this skeptic research about being skeptical about skeptics.
What's that ancient Greek's name? Guy again? Name?
I'm a bit skeptical of you doing all that.
Toss
your salad and you've got sore knees.
Yeah, error, toss the knees.
Error, toss you've got sore knees.
Yeah, that bloke. Yeah.
Eratosthenes.
In the mid-20th century, we began launching satellites into space that would help us determine the exact circumference of the Earth, 40,030 kilometers. But over 2,000 years earlier in ancient Greece, a man arrived at nearly that exact same figure by putting a stick in the ground.
I'm worried about that music.
As long as if we're talking over it, Terry, if we keep making comments and
if we do the thing, if we do the thing with the talkie.
With the talking.
Yeah.
It does only go for 2 minutes, so we just have to stop it every now and then and talk about
So
stuff.
if we keep practicing Eratosthenes, say his name.
So,
get his name.
Eratosthenes preferred the PlayStation or the Xbox because he tossed the bets.
Maybe he liked the NES.
NES.
Also, another thing too is I'm not even sure if they had green dye back in 240 BC.
My other question is, how'd they get straight sticks back then?
Oh, didn't you know, Terry? With the flat Earth, you get straight sticks.
I was just thinking,
Nothing's curved.
they would have had green dye. They would have had green dye because they would have been able to get it from. They would have been able to get it from cuttlefish and stuff like that.
Did you know there wasn't a word for colour for blue back in the old days?
Well, Isn't the rumour that the Virgin Mary wore blue?
Did you know up until about 200 years ago there were 32 letters in the alphabet? And up until about 60 years ago we had an extra one.
Yeah, which one?
It was a pi symbol.
Well, what would 3.14 be doing in the alphabet?
It was the symbol they used, not the actual pi.
I know.
No, see, back then, demonic was just 3.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Pies were easier to bake than cakes.
But it's all good.
Play the bed, that's long enough.
That man was Eratosthenes, a Greek mathematician and the head of the Library of Alexandria. Eratosthenes had heard that in Syene, a city to the south of Alexandria, no vertical shadows were cast at noon on the summer solstice. The sun was directly overhead. He wondered if this were also true in Alexandria, so on June 21st he planted a stick vertically in the ground and waited to see if a shadow would be cast at noon. It turns out there was one, and it measured about 7 degrees. Now, if the sun's rays are coming in at the same angle at the same time of day, and a stick in Alexandria is casting a shadow while a stick in Syene is not, it must mean that the Earth's surface is curved. And Eratosthenes probably already knew that. The idea of a spherical Earth was floated by Pythagoras.
How do you know his stick was straight up and down, like vertically?
It wouldn't actually matter. It wouldn't matter for the shadow test. So within reason, it wouldn't have to be perfectly straight like a broomstick is.
I know that, but that's why I'm just asking. How did he know that it was actually right angles to the ground?
They would have used the string bob.
Yeah, the string line and the
That's all they used to build the pyramids, was basically a string bob.
Yeah.
Pythagoras around 500 BC and validated by Aristotle a couple centuries later. If the Earth really was a sphere, Eratosthenes could use his observations to estimate the circumference of the entire planet. Since the difference in shadow length is 7 degrees between Alexandria and Syene, that means the two cities are 7 degrees apart on Earth's 360-degree surface. Eratosthenes hired a man to pace the distance between the two cities, and learned they were 5,000 stadia apart, which is about 800 kilometers. He could then use simple proportions to find the Earth's circumference. 7.2 degrees is 1/50th of 360 degrees, so 800 kilometers times 50 equals 40,000 kilometers. And just like that, a man 2,200 years ago found the circumference of the entire planet with just a stick and his brain.
Yep, there you go. Just his stick in his brain.
Nice and simple, straight to the point. And what's more to the point, we could probably still do it today quite easily.
Yeah, it's the trouble with this shame is that the flat earthers don't have any sticks in their brains, and yet they still can't measure stuff.
Well, we're about 800 kilometres apart between you and me, Peter, so I could get my stick and you could get your stick, and we can compare sticks.
We could compare sticks. And then the difference between our two sticks would be the difference between about 800 kilometres. So we could do almost exactly the same experiment.
I have no sticks.
I don't need to put no stick in no ground, because like we've known this shit for 2,200 years.
Yeah, but it's always nice to double check and peer review people's information.
Oh no! According to Maxwell, peer review's bullshit.
Maxwell. Oh, you're not stupid. No, it's not.
Maxwell.
Oh, I heard that today.
Maxwell.
What?
So Maxwell turns around and says the peer review's bullshit.
Who's this Maxwell? Do I need to know him?
No, you don't want to.
No, he was my thing that pissed him off even more. Okay, and it messed up Aaron because he stuffed up. I said, what happens when you hand in an exam to a teacher that's the same age as you? Your exam is technically being peer reviewed because that person is your peer. Even though they're your teacher, But because they're in the same age bracket as you, they are part of your peer group too.
It's not just that though, Demonic, but have a look at our law system. If you do something, if you're accused of doing something wrong and you go to court, the jury is made up of your
peers.
So that would be a peer review.
Yeah. Proofreading someone's book before it goes to print.
So we're roughly 675k apart, Demonic. So we could do that as well.
Yeah,
so that way we could actually do it in two different directions.
That's 3 sticks. That's cheating.
So no, see, by using three sticks, you actually make it more accurate.
Well, actually, no, because that doesn't work because we're making a bloody triangle.
Yeah, it still works.
No, it's got to be in a straight line.
That makes sure that it's curving in two directions, though.
But actually, what you could do there, so because between you and Terry, it's a north-south, and between you and me, it's east-west.
Exactly. So that means we're making sure it's curving in two directions.
So which stream are we meant to be on, Davros? Because you found my other stream that was supposed to be going.
Did I?
Yeah, you typed on it.
My phone playing funny buggers.
I'll change it to. Oh, it only goes to 11:55. What time is it now? 10:55. Because I wanted to check. I wanted to test it make sure it works. I'll probably be doing this for the next couple of days, just playing around with this live stream studio shit.
So from you and the gong, good morning.
Make it 11:30.
It's 1,123 kilometres.
1,123 kilometres.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We just
We're
started.
about from Scotland to Australia.
Oh, from what part of Australia would you like to go to, Pip?
Wollongong.
Oh.
From Wollongong?
Wollongong.
We'll go to Wollongong.
Okay, I'll go to Wollongong. I want to go to Melbourne.
No, don't go to Melbourne.
What's in Wollongong? Where's Wollongong?
Just south.
Just south of Sydney.
Just about an hour and a half from Sydney.
Yeah. What you've just done there, Peter, right? Okay. With that number is you basically worked out that the degrees on that circle between you and Terry is almost 10 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah, and you didn't even have to put the bloody stick in the ground.
Thank God for Google Maps.
Yeah. But the thing is, you could use that to extrapolate your information, right?
Which way do you want to fly, Kit? Do you want to fly over? Do you want to fly over China, or do you want to fly over America?
Fly over China.
Well, okay, so Peter.
We should be flying over the North Pole and then just flying straight down to us. So that's how all flight paths go, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how I thought it would work.
Like they go to the North Pole first and then they go to where they need to go.
Oh,
yeah, apparently that's how you find directions, yeah.
On the flat Earth, that's how it works, yeah.
Yeah, but when we debunked that flat Earth bollocks with Carlos and his light that they didn't accept, it's like, but hang on. What we are doing is we are showing you scale models of a globe or a ball and a plate. Okay? With the ball, the shadow falls 180 degrees on it. On the plate or the frisbee or the whatever, it wouldn't matter if it was 10 inches or 100 inches or 1,000 inches as a model. No matter where you put a circular light, it will always cast a circular light upon that flat plane.
So Pip, where would you like to take off from in Scotland, roughly?
Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be 16,970 kilometres.
Ooh. That's far.
So it's closer if you leave from Edinburgh, though.
No, not much. Edinburgh's further away from me.
Yeah, but it's closer to us.
I don't see how.
Because of Great Circles.
Okay. But it's only about 50 minutes from Glasgow.
Yeah, it saves about so
Hey Peter, can I just get that distance again?
it saves actually 60 kilometres. To Edinburgh or to Glasgow?
To Glasgow.
It is 16,969.
16,959 divided.
6,9.
No, 6,9. Oh.
So it's
really?
one.
No.
So it's 1,6969.
Don't talk in kilometres.
That's in kilometres.
Yeah. That's 152 degrees, 152.8738738,739 degrees. That's a fair way around that bowl.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite side of the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm almost exactly 55 north.
And Peter, what are you?
No, that was Terry. So
what did I do?
No,
Terry would be 30 south. But it's actually the longitude that we want, not the latitude.
Hang on.
Well, all our 22 viewers are going to have to go over to the new stream. So I know it's a bit of a headache for people, but until I can learn how this new streaming things get set up properly, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. So what we'll do, what time's it now? I've been streaming for 3 hours on this one. So we'll stop it now. And we can have a coffee and a toilet break. New one, we'll try to get it to start in half an hour or less. I think it's set for 23 minutes. I've got it here. Pop the chat out for that one. Learning why the backdrop thing wasn't the same as the other one. Work out that. I think we can still keep the Zoom.
We should be able to keep the Zoom.
Yeah, we should be able to keep the Zoom going. I'll put the link in the outside chat for the people out there. Know which one where we're going.
So was there a reason why they changed all this around? Does anyone know? Or?
No, YouTube are just getting rid of the old studio feature to do your live streaming with, and they just want you to go to this new streaming part that they've got in it. It looks more complicated, but I'm having trouble getting the backdrops to make sure they come through. And when you go to live stream now, even though you've set your time, and then I usually just press start streaming and it'll just go straight through like it did before, but this time it's different. I'd have to show you. I'll do a screenshot of it off air, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'll copy the link. No, and Nick's out in the side chat. Hey Nick, who's avoiding you? The moment I come, the stream ends. No. I'm learning this new streaming thing that they want you to go to in YouTube.
Yeah, and we're just here for moral support, aren't we, Terry?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's nice and quiet tonight, so I thought I'd pop in.
Yeah.
No, it's been good having you here, Dory.
Like riding a dinosaurs test stream yesterday. How long did that go on for?
I made it go for 4 hours.
Yeah, it was awesome.
My notifications have been mucking up. Like I went there and had a look and it said 11 hours. That was at about 11 o'clock last night. I thought, okay. At 8 o'clock this morning, I had a look and it said he streamed 11 hours ago. And I was like, what the fuck? Did I miss a day?
No, the one I had, the one I've had for it was a Sean. I think it was a Sean G after show, and it had Bob the Science Guy in it. And I can't find it on my channel that it's uploaded for that exact stream. It's not the title's not the same, so I couldn't figure it out.
I don't know, Terry. I don't run YouTube.
I know.
Shit.
I know. So out in the side chat, I just posted a link to the new stream. So hopefully it'll go through with the right time. I don't know what the backdrop's going to be or not. So we'll just see how it goes. So we'll see you in a little while.